World-famous mezzo-soprano vocalist Susan Boyle first gained notoriety in 2009 following her participation on A Britain's Got Talent. Within a few years, she not only rose to prominence as a prominent musician, but her first albums also peaked at the top of charts in the US and the UK, where she currently resides. Boyle also boasts a staggering 680 million plus views on her A Britain's Got Talent audition video, the single best-selling pre-ordered album on Amazon in 2009, and 2 Grammy Award nominations, according to her official website. However, Boyle's life wasn't always simple before her circumstances seemed to completely change as a result of her unexpected success. Being the youngest in her family, Boyle experienced bullying as a young child growing up in Blackburn, Scotland, and some of the cruelties against the singer still exist today. Still, Boyle has triumphed over her enemies and continues to have a positive attitude about life. It's crucial to understand some of Boyle's hardships and sorrows in order to really appreciate this incredible musician. She was abused and bullied at school. Susan Boyle was unaffected by the harsh reaction of the audience upon her A Britain's Got Talent stage arrival. As she revealed to the Mirror soon after finishing her debut studio work, I dreamed a dream, the Scotswoman was often teased as a child by both her peers and her teachers. Boyle alleged that teachers who were ignorant of learning difficulties frequently struck her with a belt. She also thinks that her schooling suffered greatly as a result of their ignorance. I was often left behind at school because of one thing or another, as she said. I was a reluctant student. Simply said, I learned things a little bit more slowly than most individuals. Therefore, you find yourself falling behind in a system that is driven by expediency. I felt as though I was experiencing that. Boyle was subjected to peer harassment at school when she wasn't getting spanked. The talent show alumna said, there's nothing worse than another person having power over you by bullying you and you not knowing how to get rid of that thing. She described how her school years were the darkest time of her life because of the abuse she suffered at the hands of others. Success, in Boyle's words to the Daily Mail, was a wonderful method for her to exact revenge on her past attackers. The song you'll see on my first album is about me getting my own back on people, as she stated. Her torture began at home as well. Susan Boyle eventually came out to say that her father had also mistreated her, on top of the verbal and physical violence she had suffered at school. And my father, though a very good man, had a temper, Boyle stated in a Daily Mail interview. I felt upset when he revealed it to me. I kept this around for years, even though he didn't mean to. I had to let go of it. As a mature person, you must accept it. Boyle's accounts were corroborated by an unnamed source who explained that her father's physical abuse of her was caused by his time in the war. It's also obvious that Boyle's parents made an effort to shield her from imagined threats, which further complicates things. She said, I was protected in cotton wool, to the Daily Mail in 2011. They thought they were doing the right thing. This also extended to shielding Boyle from romantic involvement. When she was 25, she had a lover who didn't win her father over. My dad decided that particular boy was not for me, and I was too immature to handle a relationship, as she explained. Moreover, epilepsy made her early years challenging. Susan Boyle was appropriately diagnosed with epilepsy at a young age, despite also receiving a false diagnosis of brain injury. The A Britain's Got Talent winner disclosed in a 2011 interview with the Daily Mail that she experienced frequent seizures while in school, which provided her childhood bullies with additional means of attacking her. Boyle added that her father and mother were ignorant of the best ways to manage the illness, which has also afflicted celebrities including Neil Young, Lil Wayne, and Sir Elton John. She remarked, I was covered in cotton wool. My parents believed they were acting morally. They referred to me as sensitive. I used to pass out a lot in school. I have never discussed it before. The celebrity also thinks that the medical community didn't have much more knowledge about the brain condition, which can result in a wide range of physiological and occasionally psychological problems. People in the public, I don't have things like that, as she continued. Throughout my early years, I was told that epilepsy was related to mental health. And I see now that it's not. I was facing all those obstacles. It wasn't simple. Before her major achievement, her mother passed away. Susan Boyle's mother pushed her to follow her musical goals, but she passed away just before she achieved success, which is one of the most heartbreaking aspects of her story. 2 years before her daughter achieved global celebrity as a result of A Britain's Got Talent, Bridget Boyle passed away in 2007. It makes sense that her passing was tragic. It didn't fully register until maybe 6 months after Mum died, as Susan said to the Mirror. I was alone with my cat, Pebbles, at that point, and loneliness had set in. Losing someone as influential as your mother makes you feel as though a piece of yourself is gone, which lowers your self-esteem. Even yet, the celebrity was able to draw motivation from her mother when she considered bidding adieu to her singing career. She said in a different interview with the Mirror that her mother had always supported Susan in pursuing her extraordinary skills, regardless of how challenging or unlikely success might have seemed. I went to about 12 auditions before Britain's Got Talent, as she said. Everybody goes through the phase when they want to give up, and if I had not made a promise to my mother, then I have to be perfectly honest with you. She was brought into a mental health center. It's easy to forget, given her enormous success, but Susan Boyle placed second in the 2009 season of A Britain's Got Talent, behind the dance group Diversity. It makes sense that the hot favorite was upset when she didn't receive enough votes from the general public, considering all the excitement leading up to it. Boyle was allegedly heard saying, "I hate this show," as he threw water at the floor manager. Police were summoned to her London hotel later that evening after staff members reported that she had been acting strangely. Boyle was brought to the Priory, a psychiatric hospital, to heal. The Evening Standard said that Ofcom, the UK's media watchdog, was even thinking about looking into the behaviour of the show. It had been the target of complaints after Boyle's obviously vulnerable mental and physical state was allegedly willfully ignored by A Britain's Got Talent producers in the run-up to the final. A representative for the Priory claimed that Boyle was not under any excessive pressure to perform in the final, but the chief medical officer of the Priory told the Daily Mail that producers had not upheld their duty of care in assisting Boyle in adjusting to the demands of his newfound popularity. And nobody has had to put up with the kind of attention Susan has had, as show judge Piers Morgan said during an appearance on GMTV, via Independent, implying that the star's quick ascent to popularity would have been challenging for anybody to handle. She has become the most downloaded woman in history after disappearing from view. Susan Boyle used to be terrified of being by herself, but now she is. Susan Boyle appears to be content with her professional accomplishments, but her personal life appears to be worse than before. The singer talked candidly about her worst worries in an interview with the Daily Mail in 2011 and how they had finally come true. She admitted, "I always feared being alone, but now I don't." Boyle clarified that her constant concern had been about being alone. Then, the people closest to her died. There was one period within a few years, where my dad, my uncle, my sister, then my mum died, as she explained. It's as if I was working with a few building blocks and those blocks were scattered and I had to find them one by one. Boyle is now growing accustomed to her alone. She is nevertheless depressed by it. The main issue I have is loneliness. Particularly at night, as she remarked. So viewers, for the next update please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.